recognize that, like anything else that is good in life, it doesn't happen overnight.
No. It is a great pleasure to be having a chat with Lorco, who is president of World Athletics and was chairman of the organising committee for the 2012 London Olympics, and still plays an influential role in the broader Olympic community. Thank you so much for giving up time to have a chat with me today. So, looking back at the Paris Olympics, what stood out to you as being the most memorable moments in terms of fairy tales and medals?
Well, you can take the man out of track and field. It's rare to be able to take track and field out of the man. So athletics is obviously my love and abiding interest. Juliet Alfred from St. Lucia, an
Yeah.
extraordinary performance. She wins the women's 100 meters, and she does so from one of the smallest populations ever
Mm.
have an Olympic champion. The impact in her own country was immense. Public holidays were declared. That was the highest level of achievement, but also the broadest message that you don't need to come from well-heeled federations or powerhouse
Yeah.
uh, sports systems to be able to break through into that, to that echelon. What else stood out? Well, there's nothing like hometown results.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Leon Marchand in the swimming, winning a sack full of medals in front of an adoring French public, uh, really set the tone and the style and the joie de vivre really
Mm.
of the games. Let's not overlook the Paralympic Games. That's the
Mm.
highest, that's the highest level of humanity and achievement as well. And the speeches that talked not just about the sport but the broader impact that celebrating the
Yeah.
achievements of people with impairment and disability
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
was also a powerful, powerful message. So
Yeah.
just a few
Yeah.
quick thoughts.
Yeah. And can you give us an insight into your typical day, what it looked like during the games?
Oh, they're long days, so I'm up and
Sure.
about by sort of 5:30 in the morning. I try to do at least an hour's exercise, whether that's a run or
Mm.
sort of conditioning in the gym. I'm then on my first calls by about 6:30, and that's about dealing with all the issues that have arisen maybe in the competition the day before. What is it
Yeah.
you need to do to address them? And then, of course, because you have morning and evening sessions, and athletics is a 9-day
Mm.
championship,
Yeah.
a lot of my time is then spent in the stadium, dealing with the issues that because actually the games is a very big opportunity for all your federations to come together under one roof. So
Yes.
again, the first week in Paris for me, uh, before the game started, were all about an executive board meeting, two council meetings, two
Yeah.
days of International Olympic Committee sessions, member
Wow.
federations that want to bring you their challenges, then of course all the media interests. So you sort of get to bed at about, well, if you're lucky, you get to bed hopefully before about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you're up again 4 hours later. So
Wow.
yeah, that
Yeah. You need a holiday after that, I think.
I did take a holiday. I
Good.
went locally in the south of France for a few days with my
Yeah.
kids.
I'm sure that was much needed. Um, and so at what stage does the planning of the next Olympics
Oh,
um,
it's
for
been in
LA?
place.
I mean, it's
We
already.
started World Athletics started planning probably in and around the time of the Tokyo Games, which was in
Wow.
20. Obviously, that got delayed.
Yeah.
So a lot of our plans are in place. We have site visits already planned.
Yeah.
The sports leaders, the sports management teams in Los Angeles are in contact with our competition and technical teams
Yeah.
here in Monaco in our headquarters. So yeah, those plans were well underway even before Paris.
And can you give us an outline of the stages of your year in the build up to an Olympic Games?
Well, my year is pretty flat out because people tend to forget that last year in the Olympic year we still had to deliver 5 world championships.
Yeah, yeah.
An indoor world championships, a world cross country championships, a world relay championships, and under 20s. So all these things we still have to do. So
Mm.
our teams were probably not. I won't say they were at breaking point, but they were they
Pretty
were struggling
close, probably.
occasionally. So
Mm.
in a way, my year it sort of goes through the rhythm of competitions, but at the same time, not being so subsumed in the competitions that we're not being innovative, looking at what the future of the sport looks like, the formats. We have to raise money through
Yeah.
sponsorship and partnerships, and when you get them, those partnerships need looking after and tending. And really, of course, in a federation across 6 continents with well over 200 countries, there's quite a lot of travel, and also understanding that your approach can't work around a one size fits all. It's
No.
really important that you
Mm.
have you understand each and every individual challenge that
Yes.
gets
And
thrown up by the sheer global nature of your sport. So that's sort of my year, really.
yeah, very, very busy. Which sports are that have the most sort of financial drain on Olympic Games? That's a matter of interest.
Now, look, for all sorts of reasons, I'm an absolute passionate devotee of eventing. I think it's one of the toughest, bravest sports that anybody can take part in. And having watched people, close to home doing that,
Yeah.
I and great friends in the sport. I'm an absolute fan of eventing. But yeah, it's costly. A course design, finding land,
Mm.
they're not easy, but they're not the only sports that have infrastructural challenges. Sometimes you're building brand new venues for some
Yeah.
sports.
True.
So,
Yeah.
the most important thing is to recognize that the Olympics, understandably, is a very broad church.
As a two-time Olympic gold medalist in the 1500 meters, how did your experiences as an athlete shape your approach to leadership in organising major sporting events?
I don't think it's the only asset you need, but it is helpful if you've competed at a pretty decent level. Because what you then do is you take into your administrative roles the insights and the views of the athletes.
And who are your greatest inspirations and mentors during your athletic career?
Uh, Unquestionably, my father, who was my coach, who
Yeah,
choreographed my career,
amazing.
brought to the table some of the smartest brains of his generation to help me do that. But he was a huge figure. I mean, obviously my father and also my coach. He was asked actually towards the end of my career what he was proudest about, whether he was proud about being my father or my coach, and he went,
Yeah.
oh, of course, his coach. Anybody would be a father. I'm not quite sure that sort of ticks all the politically correct
That's
boxes
quite
today,
funny. Yeah.
but he was very clear that being my
Yeah.
coach
Oh, he must
was
have been incredibly proud of you.
yeah, he was a big influence on my
Yeah. And looking back at your amazing career, both on and off the track, what advice would you give to young athletes aspiring to compete in Olympics, especially in context, I suppose, of LA in 2028?
well. Look, you know, start from the ground up. Join a local athletics club. Find a coach that you trust. Recognize that, like anything else that is good in life, it doesn't happen overnight.
No,
I joined an
patient.
athletics club at the age of 11, but it was over a decade later before I made it into an Olympic stadium. It's a work-life balance, but make sure you've got people around you that understand those challenges and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much, Seb, for chatting today, and I hope you have a slightly quieter rest of your year and get a bit of a break.
Well, that's very kind of you. I think that's wishful thinking, but
Yeah,
I'm hoping
probably.
you're
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat today. It's
great
very,
pleasure.
very kind.